Remember years ago when you sat in the classroom and you were at your desk and the teacher was in front presenting some lesson and you were miles away. You were daydreaming, thinking about something wonderful that had happened yesterday, or perhaps thinking about your plans for after school. And suddenly you knew what was going to happen. The teacher calls on you, asking what you think about the answer, what you think the answer is. And you are totally lost. Jesus leads Peter, James, and John up a mountain by themselves. And suddenly, Jesus is radiant. His clothes become white as light. Moses and Elijah appear, and they are conversing with Jesus. Peter has a plan. Peter wants to hold on to this very special moment, this special experience. And Peter is in his own little world, imagining what he might be able to do, imagining the future. He will build 3 tents, one for Moses, one for Elijah, and one for Jesus. And as he proceeds to tell of his plan, a bright cloud appears and a voice speaks. "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him." God is in charge. God directs the disciples' attention to Jesus, the beloved Son of God, and says very clearly, "Listen to him." Peter got caught up in how good it felt to be with Jesus and be with the others on the mountain, away from the crowds, away from the people, away from Jesus' adversaries. And he wanted to hold on to that time, to that very special moment, and to that very special feeling. But God makes it clear that this is all about Jesus. He is the Son in whom God is pleased, and it's very important that we listen to him. As Jesus and the disciples come down the mountain, Jesus charges them, "Do not tell anyone about the vision until the Son of Man has been raised from the dead." On the way down the mountain, Jesus will tell the disciples that the Son of Man will suffer. And soon after this event, Jesus will gather the disciples and predict his passion and his death. It's very important to Jesus that the disciples understand that pain and suffering will precede the glory that they've experienced. We are now the ones who are called to follow Jesus as disciples. We don't know what God has in store. We do know that as we try to follow Jesus, we are not alone. Like those first disciples, there can be moments and times of experience the presence of God in very special ways and ways that are very important to us. It might be at Mass. It might be in our private prayer. We just have the feeling and the assurance that the Lord really is with us. It might be at a special celebration like Christmas Mass or Easter Mass, when the whole atmosphere is so special. The music, the decorations, the quiet moments. We feel a sense of presence and a sense of peace, and we are grateful. And we want to be able to hold on to that moment, to that experience, for as long as we can. And so we are just like Peter. Life goes on, and we can never predict what the future will bring. God wanted Peter to understand that Jesus should be the focus. Listen to him. And isn't that exactly what we try to do? We gather here week after week, and we try to understand as best we can what Jesus is teaching, or what the Lord our God is asking in the Scriptures, and especially in the Gospels. We are all on this pilgrim journey. Right now, some of us here tonight are at a place of great peace and great contentment. Some of us are at a place of pain or anxiousness. Some are rejoicing over the birth of new life in the family, and some are enduring the pain of losing a loved one. But we're all here together as a community of faith. We believe that God is with us on our journey in the good times and in the bad times. In a short time, we gather at the Lord's table to celebrate Jesus' special presence to us in the gift of his body and the gift of his blood. And we recall the words of the Father in the Gospel today. This is my beloved Son. Listen to him. When we listen now, we hear the words of Jesus. This is my body, which will be given up for you. This is the cup of my blood, which will be poured out for you. There's so much to consider and so much to pray about in this wonderful feast of the Lord's Transfiguration. God invites us today to listen and to learn.